Good evening, Patriots, and welcome to the Q Lounge Live. Hi, I'm your host, Shady Groove, and this is the In the Matrix channel. It is just after 6 p.m. on the West Coast, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. It is Friday night, everyone. Welcome to the show. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming around, everybody. Look at what you are seeing happen today. This is incredible. This is unprecedented, and you guys are winning. Despite what the mainstream media says, you guys are winning out there. Thank you for everyone coming over tonight, to all of the great moderators, the men in blue out there, men and women in blue. They will be providing you the sauce tonight, the source to the information that we're talking about. If you're new to Q, welcome. We welcome all new eyes and ears to this movement. This is a human patriot movement against a global deep state. We'll be talking about all kinds of stuff tonight that sometimes you might not be able to believe, but believe me when I tell you, it isn't easy, but it is the truth. And we are all here to help bring it to the world, guys. Welcome to all of you. Thank you to all of the Patreon subscribers who have decided to join our Patreon and get the Discord access for $10 a month over there. We have an amazing group, and the mods will drop you guys the link for that, so that if you'd like to come join some really awesome Patriots and see what goes on sometimes behind the scenes, then please feel free to. How is everybody doing? Are you guys fired up out there tonight? Let me see some 17s if I got some fired up Patriots with me tonight. Look at this world, guys. Are you seeing it change? 17, are you seeing it change? This has been an incredible week, everyone. We have a lot of interesting news going on out there around the world, but here in America, you are seeing the deep state be exposed on a level that they never thought they would be exposed. Just 3 short years ago, they were working all the levers behind the curtain. They had no fear of you. They didn't care what you thought. They didn't care what you researched or dug on. The only thing they cared about was keeping you in the pen. And look at all these beautiful 17s out there. All of you guys outside of the pen thinking for yourselves. There could be no better end to this than all of us coming together in a unified front to think for ourselves and to speak up for humanity. Humanity. That is who we speak for. We are all humans and we deserve freedom and liberty, and that is part of the whole movement, is to instill that in the minds of mankind. We are not slaves. You are not a slave. I don't care where you are on earth. You're a human being, and your standing in court and legalese is irrelevant to that, and we're going to dig into lots and lots of that stuff here tonight. I hope everybody had a great couple of weeks. We've been trying to get back here and get the show every 2 weeks, and we're going to have a little bit of a break next week. I'm going to be going out to Mount Rushmore for a few days, and I think I'm going to be meeting up with a whole bunch of Patriots out there. We actually have JT Wild, I think, is going to be going out to the Red Pill Road Show, and I might be making an appearance there. So if you're out in that area for the event, please don't come by and help support a bunch of awesome Patriots who are, just like I said, who are getting excited about this election, getting excited about November 3rd. We're going to tell as many people as we can. Right now, your news says that the president is down 15 points to Sleepy Joe. You guys, Sleepy Joe is coming out of the basement, and he's coming out hitting hard. Nobody hears anything that he says, but he's up 15 points, and he is way ahead of your president. Well, who would have thunk it, right? Do you believe them? No, we don't believe them. This is unprecedented what you're seeing. I am having friends of mine who are neutral, middle of the road Democrats who are contacting me who are completely baffled. They don't know anything about Q. They're not really fans of the president, but they have no understanding whatsoever about Joe Biden being the president. And everybody's been under the impression their whole lives that we're supposed to put up our best and brightest, right? And I think most people are seeing that Joe Biden is not the best or the brightest. Sleepy Joe, as your president loves to call him. We had some incredible stuff go on this week in the General Flynn case. The appeals court did come back and render their verdict that this case should be dropped because there's no reason at all that a judge should be appointing a judge to prosecute a case. This is unprecedented in American history. No one has ever seen anything like it, but here we are still waiting for Judge Sullivan to release General Flynn, and he did come on Rush Limbaugh. We played it on the, actually we did, I think Matrix read it on the air this past week. And if you don't know, Matrix and I do the Matrix Groove Hour every weekday. We've been doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday the last couple of weeks at 1,300 hours, guys. And so we appreciate all the love of you, everyone joining us over there. And thank you, everyone, for joining me over here tonight. We have just had some Q drops right before I came on the air, and that is pretty incredible because what is Q showing us? Q is showing us some very amazing patriots out there. All of you, how many of you have taken the oath? I think we all have. And what does that mean? That means you're going to defend your country against the insurrection. We're under an insurrection right now. This is no joke. This is treason. We said we were going to have to come up with a new word for treason. And let me tell you, what you're seeing now out there, you can really tell that the corruption is at a fever pitch. They are moving forward with their plan. They are coming around to you with the second wave. They are telling you, Joe Biden said today that he would pass a law that would force every American to wear a mask. That's literally what the man said. Does that sound like freedom to you? because it sure doesn't sound like freedom to me. And so what Q is trying to show us is he's trying to say you guys are united in your power. You have the power. All of you have the power. The state doesn't have the power. You do. And so with his most recent drop, Q dropped Elon Ashell or Enoch, his whole account. Why? Because this man has been putting up all of your oaths that you have done, that you have brought to Twitter.
Q has asked me to take this oath as a digital soldier, and I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to same, that I will take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well faithfully discharge the duties of this office on which I am about to enter. So help me God. Where we go one, we go all.
And all of these beautiful patriots here have taken this oath to their country.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God. Where we go one, we go all.
Where we go one, we go all, patriot. And look at this. Look at all of these beautiful patriots that have come to this movement. They're not just in America. This is worldwide, guys. This is unbelievable on its face when you think of where we were 2.5 years ago, that we've come this far to get this close together. Look at this. Look at all of these beautiful, wonderful, patriotic Americans. It gets me going, I'll tell you that. Some stuff like this gets me fired up. Because this is what we were aiming for. This is what the goal was. This is the unity that we wanted to show the mainstream narrative. Now we have all of this to go. What are all these people? All these people are fringe right-wing conspiracy theorists that are Nazis that believe in violence. You think that's true? Deep state. Look at this. Post after post after post. And then Q just dropped this video from this great Anon, showing all of them in a row. Look at that. You have all been deputized. And we're going to get into a little bit of what that means tonight. Wow. Stunning, isn't it? Just some random guy in his basement hosting on 8chan causes this. You can hear their heads explode, guys. This movement has destabilized the deep state. They are off kilter. They are out of line. They are unable to properly assert their narrative over you any longer. Look at all that. It seems endless. I mean, just wow. You think that MSDNC or CNN, Clinton News Network, are going to show you any of this whenever they talk about Q? Absolutely not. And then right here in Q drop 4532, he says, as the darkness falls, so does our enemies. And you're seeing light, aren't you? Dark to light. The darkness that we came out of, the thinking that no one cared, that no one wanted to stand up for America, and then to sit and watch what we saw over the last couple of weeks of them burning and looting cities and terrorizing individuals and taking over parts of cities, and all of this, push forward for the Black Lives Matter movement. This is not about Black Lives Mattering. And this is also not about COVID. Every life matters. Every life in America is important. Every life means something. That's one of the reasons you see the big difference in your president getting people back out of foreign countries. None of our past administrations seemed very concerned at all with it. But you see your president negotiating to get our citizens back from places that they've been held hostage. We are in the position of strength now. And then Q says to us that the next few weeks will demonstrate our resolve. The next few weeks. And where are we at? Let's see, where are we at in the timeline here? Here it is. Working up to after the 4th of July. Next few weeks. A week to remember, dark to light, blackout necessary. This is not something dropped by Q. This is a theory, but it's very interesting, and we've been watching this whole movement build and get more momentum in the recent weeks. So tonight we're going to break some of this stuff down here real quick. And we're going to just discuss what our founding fathers thought. And we're going to discuss what they meant by the Constitution that they gave you. And this is words from Thomas Jefferson. When we get piled upon one another in large cities, as in Europe, we shall become as corrupt as Europe. Interesting statement. The democracy will cease to exist when you take away from those who are willing to work and give to those who would not. You see that happening? It is incumbent on every generation to pay its own debt as it goes, a principle which, if acted on, would save one-half the wars in the world. One-half the wars in the world. Well, this is pretty insightful information. I predict future happiness for Americans if they can prevent the government from wasting the labors of the people under the pretense of taking care of them. My reading of history convinces me that most bad government results from too much government. We the people don't need too much government. We the people govern ourselves. We're trusted with governing ourselves. No free man shall ever be debarred the use of arms. He doesn't say the use of shotguns, Joe. The use of arms. Remember, this is a time when men had ships. They actually had cannons. We used to be able to carry gunpowder around by the barrel. The strongest reason for the people to retain the right to keep and bear arms is as a last resort to protect themselves against tyranny in government. Well. So all the people out there telling me that the only reason I need a firearm is if I'm going rabbit hunting may be a little bit off the mark. Or if I'm going to go shoot targets. No, that is not why there is a gun behind every blade of grass in America. The reason there is a gun behind every blade of grass is because of exactly what you see in your system and government right now. In these municipalities in Michigan, New York, California, Oregon, Washington State. Tyranny. These people are committing tyranny by impeding your rights, whether it is the right to assemble, the right to a firearm, or the right to go to worship. All of that is impeding on your liberty. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. Oh, we like that one. And I think you're getting ready to see some of that. And by blood, we mean held accountable, held to account for your actions directly. To compel a man to subsidize with his taxes the propagation of ideals which he disbelieves and abhors is sinful and tyrannical. So forcing people to pay taxes into the IRS whenever that funding is used to perpetuate foreign wars, this right here, and according to your Constitution, you don't have to capitulate. You don't have to volunteer. Tyranny. I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. If the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their currency, first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks and the corporations that will grow up around the banks will deprive the people of all property under the children wake up homeless on the continent their fathers conquered. Are we close to that right now, in this very moment, where we're fighting the Federal Reserve, who has taken control over every aspect of every corporate business on the face of the earth under the authority of what? Our consent? Did we all consent to this? Did we consent to this? If it is, our government is by the consent of the governed, did we consent to this? And the answer is no. Do you consent to wearing a mask? Is there a law in the Constitution that says I have to wear a mask? Oh no, you should just do it for the good of everybody else. Choke myself, choke my family, my older relatives from oxygen? That's their answer, huh? What is slavery really? And how much are you willing to fight for it? Because I see all of you people taking that oath out there, and that tells me that most of you are willing to fight for it. And how are we going to do that? We're going to do that by learning our system of government, and we're going to do it by setting up a way where we can teach other people the system of government that we live under. First, we're going to have to save it, and then we're going to have to retroactively explain to the people why it is that we had to do what we did, which is abolish this form of government and set it anew. Meaning, reestablishment of the Treasury Department as our center focus of the Republic, meaning the people control their finances. Sovereignty rules here. So wonderful, amazing post there by Q right at the beginning to show us all of these patriots who are with you. I know that a lot of you are out there that you're by yourself. You don't have any people that you can talk to. Your families are triggered. And, I know that quite a number of you come to our show and hang with us and all these lovely patriots out here in the chat. And that is a great thing. But you have to see that it is bigger than you think. There's a tremendous amount of people that aren't talking about it. They don't want to say. They're afraid to say. And as this moves forward and more things come to light, more people are going to stand up and be heard. I'm seeing it out here in Southern Oregon. I'm not seeing any signs for Biden. All signs that I'm seeing out here in Southern Oregon are for Trump, which is pretty impressive. And I know, just like what we see there where he mentions the cities, when we get piled upon one another in large cities, as in Europe, we shall become as corrupt as Europe. So they instituted a central bank that he talks about down here in number 10, and they stole all your wealth, and then they drove you off your lands because you couldn't pay your fees and taxes. Your families, your parents, your grandparents moved to the city because things are more convenient, because you got to have stuff that you can't get on your own. It's all engineered. It's all engineered. What a time to be alive, right? What an absolute amazing time to be alive. So with the Q post that we had the other day, I wanted to read this to you again. And he shows the picture of a Union soldier Old Glory stands for freedom and equality for all. The flag was carried by Union soldiers during the Civil War in a fight to abolish slavery versus the Confederate Democrats. The flag of Lincoln. It was considered a great honor to be chosen to carry the flag in battle. The soldier was unarmed and knew they would most certainly die, as did most who fought, but understood that the fight, that their lives was worth the cost, self-sacrifice. They believed in something greater than themselves. To them, the flag represented a symbol of freedom, of hope, of equality, of prosperity. And to disrespect the flag, to kneel, is to disrespect those people who fought and died to provide each and every one of us our rights we are afforded today. Old Glory knows not what color skin carries her, only that for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. To free from oppression. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. One day when we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States where men were free. Reagan. You've been getting some epic Q posts. Including this one just the other day, where Q points us to posse comitatus and points us to the value of your sheriff and points us to the police state election control. Now think about that. What is a police state? How long have you lived in a police state? Do you know that since 1871 you have lived under martial law and an insurrection? Since 1871. We didn't even make it 100 years before what Jefferson said here came true. And isn't it interesting how they were attacking the Andrew Jackson statue specifically? It doesn't take long. Black's Law Dictionary. If you do not know Black's Law Dictionary, I suggest you start to learn, because Black's Law Dictionary was what your system of courts were based upon. Information and terms that you use in court, not your lawyers. There should be no lawyers in America. You should be able to defend yourself in court. The only person that should face you in court is your accuser whom you've harmed. The state is not supposed to prosecute people. It's all turned on its head. And it's all been made to mimic admiralty maritime law, law of the sea. In essence, your fiction died at birth, and your birth certificate signed you into a corporate fiction that said that your real person was dead and you would now operate as this fiction. And with this, Q is showing us that our sheriffs have power. The sheriffs are the most important political people in your state. They can quite literally lawfully summon armies to enforce law. Most don't realize this. That's why countries used to only need to handle a handful of sheriffs. Counties only needed a handful of sheriffs. They can deputize any citizen at any time. So your sheriffs, remember, I've told you this before, your sheriffs are the presidents of your counties. So your election this year is extremely important for you to know and select and maybe even speak with your sheriff of your county, especially if it's a conservative, and attempt to red pill them. Federal zone and know about 1871 incorporation of the U.S. Title 1938 Erie Railroad President Law versus Color of Law Uniform Commercial Code, the UCC. Now, how many patriots out there? Let me see. I'm going to watch here to see how many patriots have heard of UCC. The Uniform Commercial Code. Do you guys know what that is? Do you realize that your name Look at your driver's license, look at your birth certificate. Your name is in all capital letters. Why is that? Because it is a corporation. It is a fiction that was created with your name as the surety or the company. Lots of red-pilled guys out there. Nice. The UCC, the Uniform Commercial Code, is what all commerce moves through. What do you mean commerce? I mean everything is commerce. When you drive, you participate in commerce. But when you travel, you do not. Whenever I get my W-2s from wherever I work, it says wages, tips, etc. And then I take that where it says wages, tips, and etc., and I take it over here to this other document and I claim it as income. The definition of income is a corporate profit. So you're claiming your wages and earnings as income and volunteering to pay the tax on said income. Because before you claimed that as income, it wasn't income. It was your wage. And those things are different. And they tricked you into claiming they were the same. So here is this thread. I think the mods have dropped it to you. Go in and you can dig a little bit more. We're going to be presenting a lot more here as we go through tonight that shows you, gives you places to go dig on your own and also resources that you can share with other people. Now I'm going to play this video right here, if I get the right one. And it is very soft, and it's going to be tough to hear this. But I'm going to turn it up, and hopefully this comes through for you guys without being too quiet. If it's extremely quiet and you can't hear it very good at all, I won't play it, but it's just a couple of minutes, okay?
Education is not a debate. Every child in America should be acquainted with his own country. He should read books that furnish him with ideas that will be useful to him in life and practice. As soon as he opens his lips, he should rehearse the history of his own country. Noah Webster. If a nation expects to be ignorant and free, it expects what never was and never will be. Thomas Jefferson. If virtue and knowledge are dispersed among the people, they will never be enslaved. Samuel Adams. If sheriffs can receive a proper education, it would empower them to enforce the true law of the land. Sheriffs would stop all unconstitutional warrants. Sheriffs would stop all IRS liens, thereby closing down their debtors' prisons. Sheriffs would stop all non-judicial mortgage home foreclosures. Sheriffs would stop all non-judicial tax foreclosures. Sheriffs would prevent incarceration without indictment and trial by jury. Sheriffs would prevent federal SWAT teams from breaking down our doors in the middle of the night and terrorizing our families. Sheriffs would prevent the enforcement of all unconstitutional statutes. Sheriffs would empower the people by enforcing our Bill of Rights. The Sheriff Project will facilitate a proper education for sheriffs and their deputies by sending 20-plus sheriff pocket handbooks to every sheriff.
Now, if you don't know, this is the National Liberty Alliance. They've got tons of great information on their site, but I wanted to play that for you to give you an idea of the background of this. You know, we have to realize the power that your sheriff has. The reason that you're having your homes foreclosed on and the IRS is levying liens against you is because your sheriffs are allowing it. Now, most of them don't realize this. A lot of them don't realize what kind of power they really do have because they're uneducated. So it is our job as Americans to help them if they're willing to listen. I'm not talking about forcing anything. I'm talking about allowing them to understand what is going on, because the president is bringing us back to a republic. He's bringing the republic back. He's going to wipe away the corporate entity that I was just speaking about, and I'm going to go into some stuff here and prove and show you here in just a little bit. But this reality of the Posse Comitatus Act is the now. It's the now, because we got to save the institutions and keep the institutions intact, and then we're going to educate the morons here in a little while, okay? We're educating ourselves. We're getting our power. If anyone out there wants to run for a sheriff or wants to run for office that is in this audience or has motivation to do, you're going to find a tremendous amount of patriots who support you from around the country. You know, real quick, I'd like to mention Jo Ray Perkins out here in Oregon running for Senate. If the mods would drop her link. She's come on the show multiple times. A wonderful candidate for senator, someone who understands Q. Also, Jesse Melton has come on the show running for Congress in Florida. Maybe drop her link there too, guys. And other people that are speaking up. But I was saying earlier, our senators, our representatives, our councilmen, our mayors, these people are relevant, but they're not as important as your sheriff. And knowing who your sheriff is in your county, and like I said earlier, having some sort of a relationship with this person is a good idea. And if it's someone that you can talk to and show them, say, oh, well, you know, this guy on the internet was showing me this stuff about the power of the sheriff. Maybe you could go to this National Liberty Alliance and do a little research. And on that site, they don't ignore Q. They understand what's going on with Donald Trump and the Fed. Because our republic means this much. Our republic means everything. It means everything. So this is a good place to start, and then we're going to go through and we're going to give you some other tools to share and to pass around. But first, I'd like for you to listen to this.
Sorry. I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. For those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes. Men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are